So what happens when you put an antichrist in power, and they say it's okay to be gay? Now we found out what happens to your soldiers. They're getting raped overseas and in the States. I wonder what happens to little kids. So we found out what happens when we put Antichrist in there that says you don't have to believe in God. You can do what you want to do. Found out what happened to the soldiers. They're getting raped by gays, taking their power to a whole nother level. That's what the Antichrist do. So let's find out what happens to little kids.
Tom, can you first give a case history? Just kind of a typical case history, and then we'll talk in greater detail about what happens.
All right, I can tell you the biography of a little kid from a hollow in West Virginia whose mom and dad went to Houston to find work. They thought that Houston was the capital of opportunity in America. The dad went out there to get a job, a low-level job with an oil company, brought the mother, then sent for little Jimmy and his little brother. Jimmy and his brother got to Houston on a Greyhound bus, and his dad and mom failed to pick him up.
How old were they?
Jimmy at that time was 12 and his little brother was 6. They spent the night in the terminal, Jimmy fending off the advances of a number of men. And then the dad came to pick them up the next morning. The parents had both gotten drunk and forgotten to pick up the kids. The boys went to live with their parents. The parents both had severe drinking problems. The dad lost his job. The mother got killed in a car wreck. The little boy was severely injured. Jimmy dropped out of school to try to hustle, was his word, money to help keep the family, what was left of it, together. The dad died choking in his own vomit after a drinking bout, and Jimmy was the sole support of himself and his little brother. The rent was coming round, and Jimmy had no money, and then a neighbor kid said to him, "You can get $10 just for watching me play with a man." And Jimmy said, "That's queer." And his friend said, "It's not queer if the guy does it to you. If you just let it happen, and all you have to do is watch." Jimmy did it. Then the man offered Jimmy $25 to let the man play with Jimmy. And Jimmy took it, so he had $35. And then he got introduced into the routine. Jimmy was little, only 12, and he was small for his age. And the circuit he went on in Houston was not the main one, which is Montrose. He went to a place nearby, an arcade called Funland. The way that worked was the boys would stand by the machines, and a man would come by. If the man offered quarters, the boy would take them, and then the man and the boy would go off. Jimmy became a professional prostitute at the age of 12. He survived in that capacity until he was 14.
Was he working on his own, or was he part of an organization?
He was not part of an organization. He was what they call the Farm League. And he was taking care of his little brother. His brother got killed in a car wreck when he was driving with some people. And Jimmy then was desolate and almost destitute. He used the last money he had to bury his brother. He did not want to let his last surviving relative, his grandpa in West Virginia, know the way things had gone.
So now they're molesting our boys that you send to the military. And now the kids back home are getting molested. All because you guys don't want to worship Christ. And you want to put Antichrist over a prophet of God. So police can drive around in their cars and feel big and bad because I'm a man of God showing miracles and they want to hold me down. So they're molesting your older sons when they go into the military, and in catching your children back here on the streets because they're getting caught up in drugs and alcohol because they are told that they don't have to listen to God while your police officers and your government run around and mock me. These are the Antichrists.